Hey, hi, hello, it's Rebecca Marie and welcome to the Align and Sunshine Club. It can be a lonely journey leveling up and I'm here to go through it with you. I'm a 21-year-old navigating life as a young founder with big dreams, personality, and the hope of inspiring more people to take on the challenge of finding themselves, their happiness, and alignment with their best self. I'm all about showing up as the person you want to be. So stick around if this is a bit of you and prepare to feel like sunshine. Hey, hi, hello, it's Rebecca Marie and welcome back to episode 6 of the Align and Sunshine Club podcast. Today, we are back with another topic that'll help you on your journey to finding your best self and showing up as them every single day. This is going to help you bring a little bit of extra happiness into your life, and it's just another one of the things that I have learned over my self-development journey from my experience, and I want to share it with you guys because I think it's another really important one. So let's get into it. Today, we're going to be talking all about new hobbies and new skills. I believe that as I've been doing new things, there's like a stigma around you have to be good at things that you're doing or like it's embarrassing to be bad. But of course, if it's a new skill, you're not going to be perfect at the beginning. And I think this can hold people back from wanting to do it, especially as we get older. Because when we're younger, we get kind of like pushed into hobbies and we get pushed into extracurriculars. And there's so much stuff that you get to try all the time at school and then outside of school as well. And when you get older, that kind of stops. One, because hobbies can cost money and maybe you move away from home and then you just can't afford it because you're a student or you think you don't have the time. But at the end of the day, I've covered this a couple different times now. If you want to make time for something, you will. And I really think that new hobbies and new skills are something that is so important and we should all be doing. So that's kind of just what the episode's going to be about. And I'm really excited to unpack this for you. And hopefully by the end of this, some of you want to go and pick something up or do something new or even something old. Just bring it back. So let's keep going. This is exciting. So as I've said, there's a bit of a stigma around being bad at things and it's embarrassing to try new things or it's embarrassing to be really passionate about something. And I just think that's not the case. And I think once again, if somebody is shaming you for doing something that you really love, that's on them. They obviously see something in themselves that they don't like about themselves, which they feel the need to bring out on you being really passionate about something, because you're not hurting anyone by loving a new hobby or trying a new hobby, and sharing your passion is not embarrassing. And so that's my first thing, is just please remember that throughout this whole thing, if you are stopping yourself because you're embarrassed or because you're scared, those are not good enough reasons not to do it. Life is too short to be embarrassed or scared of something that you actually would quite like in your life. You're going to get to your deathbed one day and you're not going to go, oh damn, I'm really upset that I took up figure skating. You'll be like, I really wish I actually did figure skating. Not saying that everyone has to do figure skating, but that is just how I would feel if I got to the end of my life and I hadn't ever tried figure skating. I would have been fuming. And so just think about that. The embarrassment and the fear is not as bad as the regret. Ooh, that was deep from Rebecca Marie. Okay. So you're not too cool to try new things. It is cool to be passionate about something. And I couldn't be interested in someone who has no interests. Even friends or romantic wise, if somebody has no interests or anything to talk about, you can tell, right? They just don't have anything interesting going on. They have nothing they're passionate about, and it's so obvious. And so I think hobbies and skills really help with that. You can be passionate about your job and stuff, but it just adds that next interesting layer onto you as a human. That's my overarching points about that. And I also think it's really important because we are spending so much time on our phones and the internet and TikTok and social media and all of these things that are online. We are constantly connected, and entertainment is just an app click away. And you can sit mindlessly scrolling these apps for so long. And I think that we lose track of time. Entertainment is right in front of us. And so I think by having a hobby and allowing time for it and having something else you're passionate about, it will remove you from your phone or it gives you something else to do. I think so many people don't have hobbies now because you don't really need to go out and do something because you literally have entertainment wherever you are, whenever you want it, which is just so sad. And so here's a few reasons why it's also important. Those are my main points of why I think like you should consider it. But it's important because, as I said, like when you're a kid, you're encouraged to do all these things, and there's a reason that you're encouraged to do them as a kid. It like makes you more interesting, and it gives you experience and a skill set. It helps with your patience because you have to learn. Like you're not going to be an expert the first time you try something new. Maybe you are and you found your calling, but for most people, it's a learning curve. So your patience will grow. It reduces your stress. You get to spend time in this thing you're really passionate about, whether it's a sport, an art, a musical instrument. There are so many different things you can do, and it just reduces stress, which is then good for your mental health. It can help to build connections and create new relationships. I am a really strong believer that you find the people, like you can find your people if you spend the time where you think you would find them. Like if you want to find somebody who's really keen on running at 5 a.m., you're not going to find them in your bed, you know what I mean? Like sleeping at 5 a.m., like get out and go for that run. And you'll probably run into some people, go say, hey. And like if you, like I've met a heap of lovely people at figure skating, and I've got my figure skating friends because they're at the rink. Like I'm not going to find people who ice skate just randomly. Like maybe I would, but you know what I mean? Like it's a niche community you're looking for. So if you're looking for more friends, going to these places where you do hobbies is the perfect way to meet them. Yeah, as I said, increase in patience. So then your self-esteem and your confidence as well, because as you're growing that skill over that period of time, you're going to get more confident and you're going to be proud of yourself. And it's like when you get to be proud of yourself, you're releasing those endorphins. It's going to make you happier. But yeah, obviously new skills will increase your knowledge, and it like just adds more to your toolkit of life. So other than just being like interesting by having something else that you're passionate and interested in, you're going to have a bigger toolkit of your life. Like having skills is impressive, and having like unique skills is really cool and fun. And like, I feel like you can get into so many really interesting topics of conversation when you do something interesting. And as I have already mentioned, my big final one is it helps you to use your time better. And if you allocate some time to this fun hobby, this fun passion, and this new skill, then that is a better use of your time. Like stop scrolling TikTok. And I have to say that I scroll TikTok too much as well. And I often blame it on like, oh no, it's work. And sometimes it is, but most of my screen time on TikTok is not work. And I will admit that right here, and I'm trying to change it. And so I think we should all try and change that. Now, let's kind of get into like what I've done for hobbies, and then I'll give you guys some actionable tips on how you can start with your new skills and how you can find your thing you want to pursue. But what I've been doing is kind of crack up because my main thing in my life is business, and I turned that, like it started as a hobby and now it's just my whole life. And so it's a new skill that I'm constantly upskilling, but it's definitely, I don't know, you know what I mean? Like it's not like a small thing. It is a big part of my life now. And so I'd recommend like you don't really want your work to be the thing that you use as your hobby, because then it's not a break. And so like I do my business, and I wanted to touch on that because it is a new skill, and I turned my hobby into my life. But I think you need to have things that are separate from your day-to-day mundane tasks, not even mundane, just day-to-day life, work, everything that has to be done. You need something that's outside of that for you, so that has that split off into you time. So yeah, I've got my businesses, and then alongside that, I turned my passion for graphic design. I also get to do that for my businesses. And then YouTube, social media, and content creation were a huge hobby of mine, but I've also turned those into my life. And so those ones are just very much like the things that were hobbies and new skills that were like a bit different, and I've done them and I still do them. And then these ones are the ones that are like more like actual hobbies / new skills. So my main one is I figure skate. I am currently in my 3rd term of figure skating classes out at Daytona Adventure Park. If you're in Wellington, it's up in Upper Hutt, down in Upper Hutt, I don't know. And I went out to the rink And I always wanted to figure skate since I was very little. And my parents didn't want to drive me the whole way to the rink because it was quite far from my house. And I was like, actually, I'm old enough now. I have a car. I'm going to go and take myself. And so I started following along about the classes, waited along for it, and finally signed up. And I've met some lovely people in my class. I bought some really expensive skates, but I did start out on like Trade Me skates. So I think it's really interesting that when you start a hobby, like there is so many ways to make it cheaper. Like I feel like some roadblocks might be, oh, it's expensive to get the equipment. It's expensive to do this. My figure skates were $20 on Trade Me. And I actually went through, I had a different pair that broke. They were also $20. So I spent $40. And then I just used these really bad skates. But I had some, and it meant I got to get out there and see if I actually really loved it before investing all of that money into it. But I do love it. And so, I'm taking classes, which is really fun. But also on the note of the classes, I'm in a class that's for 14-year-olds and up. 14-year-olds and up. I am 21. Some of the people in the class thought I was 16. And that's just so embarrassing. No, it's not. But it's not embarrassing. It's not embarrassing, but it seems embarrassing. And people were like, oh, she's doing classes. And a couple people have like said some things about me posting it or like, oh, how's it going? Make fun of it a little bit. But it's not funny. It's awesome. I love knowing that I can figure skate. I can go on one leg now. I'm about to learn how to do a jump. And that's all that really matters. I'm proud that I finally know how to do it. It helps with healing my inner child because it's something I've wanted to do for so long. And it's amazing. So that's like my main biggest hobby, I think. I make time for it every week and I go to the rink, even if I'm really busy. And it helps that there's classes, obviously, because I have to go to those classes once every 2 weeks. And then the weeks that I don't have classes, I make sure I go anyways. My next one that I've gotten so into recently is the gym. This is a huge new skill for me. When I was doing 75 hard, I just became really keen on it. Started out like absolutely cardio, mainly just cardio at the gym, cardio and core, one day of like weights, and then back to cardio and core. And now I'm so into my weights and I go 6 out of 7 days a week because I'm figure skating on the other day, which I count as my rest day, which doesn't really count. But anyways, I love the gym. It's so good. It's made me feel so good about myself. And it's a new skill because I didn't know I have to watch TikTok videos. I have to ask for help. I have to call my friend who's good at the gym to help me out because I don't want to mess it up. And I think it's really good. As I said, all the things that it helps you with before, like patience, like you can't do the heaviest weight on the first day. But yesterday I went out for, what day was it? It was back day. I love back day. And I put up a weight. I went up a weight on every single one of my back exercises, if not 2 weights. Like I was really impressing myself. And it's like that patience to actually get where you want to be. Like it took me over a month and a half to learn how to do a chin up. And now I can do 4. So that's also a really good, helpful one. And obviously working out is good for your mental health as well. So super recommend that. What else have I got? I like reading. That's fun. I don't read enough, but that's definitely a hobby people could get into. I like sewing. I love sewing. I actually don't put this high enough on my priority list. I prefer to go figure skating or to the gym. At the moment, those are my biggest hobbies and time users. But I love sewing, making things from scratch. I just made my Halloween top for my Halloween costume and I made it from scratch and I made a pattern and it was really fun and it's just so grounding for me. I really enjoy it. Makes me feel really connected to my nan who passed away because she kind of like, I think I got it in my genes from her. And so I love it. It makes me feel really, really good. And then my other hobbies, learning French. This is a slow road. This kind of lost priority when I started 75 hard, but I'm bringing it back and I want to go to Europe next year. So it's kind of like a new skill that I really want before I go there, which means there's a timeline on it, which means I'll hopefully be more motivated with it. Sounds cool. A language. Art. I love art. When I was younger, I used to do drawing and painting all the time, and I have not done it much, but I just bought a longboard, which is my next hobby / new skill, because I want to get to the gym quicker. Now 75 hard's over, I don't have to walk around and run around for 45 minutes outside every day. And so I'd rather get down to the gym quicker, do a longer gym sesh, and then come home. And so I bought a longboard. I don't know how to longboard. And it's like, it was $15 off Facebook Marketplace. It's so crummy and like it's like old as. The nails are rusty, the trucks are good, and the wood on the bottom is good, but the the sandpaper, the grip tape is like ripped and stuff. And so the other day I drew up this really fun design on the bottom for like a Line and Sunshine Club, and I'm going to paint it on. And it kind of blew my mind how I still know how to draw, and like pretty well, like it was not bad. Like the letters, anyways, calligraphy. But it's like I'm bringing a little bit of art back in because I was like, that'd be really calming, sit in the sunshine, do some painting. But art is good. Art is so calming and grounding, and that's a really, really good one. I definitely don't do it enough. But just another example of something that you could take up as your new skill and your hobby. And then longboard, as I just said, I'm learning how to longboard, which is fun. And I'm getting better. I just didn't know how to stop when I started, so I just like crash into things. But that's okay. It's all part of the learning curve. And that was probably people, you'd think that's embarrassing, right? Like there was this guy coming out of a van and there was a fence next to me. And if you've been to Wellington, you know it can get windy. And it was like a really calm day, and I was going along at like a speed that I thought was fine. I was chilling. I could have jumped off at any second. And then the wind just pops up behind me, starts boosting me along the road, and I didn't know how to get off. And there was this guy on the left, and so I was like, I guess I've got to crash into that fence. And so I had to crash into this fence right in front of this guy. I mean, I didn't really crash. I just kind of like grabbed onto it. It wasn't graceful or anything. I did fall off at the end. But it's not embarrassing. I'm learning a new skill. Like, if you're out there and you're doing it, there's absolutely nothing to be embarrassed of. You fall, you break your arm, you get back up again, because that is what life's about. It's not about being able to do things straight away. It's about finding these new skills and like really maximizing your life as much as you want to. So I was like, oh, do I want to learn how longboard? Yeah, I do. I didn't even really have to think about it. I was like, I had the thought that I wanted to do it. I found a cheap longboard and I started the new skill because I want to constantly be updating my toolkit, and that is the way to do it. And the only other thing I could think of when I was writing out all of my different hobbies was I tried a self-defense class, and I did a term of self-defense classes and I hated it. And so that's just in there to say that you can do things that you think you might like or you think you want the skill for, but you don't have to love it. And I just continued to show up to all of the classes that I had signed up for and I had paid for, and I continued with it even though I hated it and I never liked it more throughout it. And sometimes you might not like it at the beginning and you might grow to like it, and sometimes you might just not grow to like it. And that's what happened for me with self-defense. Like, I didn't enjoy it at all. It was good. I wanted the skill, and I went because I wanted to upskill and feel more confident as a woman. But I did not enjoy it. So that's just remember, you don't have to love them all, but it is worth trying them, and to keep trying them again after you didn't like it that first time, because who knows, after 5, I could have really loved it. That just wasn't the case for me, and I will not be going back there for a while. But I got my little bit of knowledge and I upskilled and I feel more confident, and I'm glad I did it. It's just not the hobby I want to continue on with through my life. Okay, now we're up to the exciting part, the actionable toolkit part. This is where I want to help you find something that you want to pick up. You might already be thinking, after we've got to this part in the episode, of something you want to do. Maybe when you were younger, you played football. Oh, that was another one of mine. Played football, but I don't do that anymore. Maybe when you were younger, you played football, or you played sport, or you played an instrument, and this has just made you feel like you want to do it again. Awesome. If you have no idea, we've got a few little reflection/meditation/journal question prompts. So you can either sit and you can just listen to this part of the podcast and just pause it after I've mentioned the question and just sit, close your eyes and reflect and meditate on it. Or you can use these as journaling prompts to kind of unpack them, bubble map them, and do it that way if you prefer to have things written out. So there's 2 different ways here. You can sit and reflect with these. So first off, we're going to ask yourself, what did your younger self want to be able to do? So for me, that was like figure skating, and that's the main one for that. So yeah, stop now and just think about, what did your younger self want to be able to do? And what did they really look up to? Like, what was a skill that they thought they couldn't have, but they thought was really cool? Awesome. My second prompt is, what does your future self do? So this is really with that question of, what am I doing today to align with my future self? And for me, mine is like going to the gym. I want to be healthy. I want to be fit. And then it was like I wanted to be able to defend myself, so self-defense. And now it is I want to go to the gym every day. And so to help me with that, I'm doing the longboarding. And so what do you want to be able to do in the future? Like, I want to be able to figure skate again. So that really fits in with that. So yeah, just take a second now to think about, what does your future self do? What is your ideal self? What skills do they have? Awesome. And then my third and final prompt for this is, what is something that impresses you? What is something that you watch and you're like, wow, that is so cool? And it could be like an Olympic sport. It could be you go to the ballet and you love watching the ballet and it really impresses you. Or it could be a concert, you love seeing the drummer in the background. Maybe you want to do the drums. So yeah, that's my third and final prompt is, what's something that impresses you? So just from the top, those 3 prompts are that you should reflect, journal, and meditate on now. What did your younger self want to be able to do? What does your future self do? And what's something that impresses you? Awesome. Once we've done that, you should have a list of some really cool ideas, and it's a good place to start with finding something that you want to add into your life. Now, if it is completely new, there's a couple different steps you need to go with this. If it's something you're bringing back into your life, you probably know where to start. Might need to look for some new classes or a group to join. You might already have the equipment. If you don't, and it is something completely new, there is so much advice online. So the few things you're going to want to do is you want to look online for help. So I do this for like pretty much everything when I'm trying to learn a new skill. TikTok has the answer to almost everything now. It is turning into one of the world's biggest search engine platforms. I think it's just boosted up that list. It is huge. The amount of content on there, you can find anything in a short form video. So you need to know how to stop on your longboard. Watch your TikTok. So yeah, TikTok, YouTube, Google searches, or ask your friends with the same skill set for advice. So that's like the first one. Anything you need, Google it. The amount of times people message me about something and I'm like, just Google it. Like, I had to Google it. I didn't know how to set up a podcast. I Googled it. Or I asked my friend as well. But then also, you might want to be looking for classes in your area. You can do this through community groups on Facebook. You can do this through Google searches. You can do this through asking friends who do the same thing already. And then also looking on secondhand sites for equipment is so important, because it doesn't have to be that expensive to start a new hobby or a new skill and bring that into your life. And I just want to really bring that up and remind you, it doesn't have to be expensive, and that shouldn't be a roadblock. You can usually rent equipment from somewhere. You can get it really cheap on Trade Me, or you could borrow some from a friend or family member if it's something they're not doing anymore as well. So yeah, please make sure to look secondhand equipment if that's something that you want to do. If you have the money and you know you're going to really love it, just jump in and buy it if you can. But also, like, what if you don't really love it? Like, I did figure skating for months before I invested in my skates, because I knew I was dedicated and I knew it was going to be like a life skill that I continued to grow on. So yeah, just keep that in mind. And then the other thing, my final tip is, you should make it a priority. So this hobby and this new skill should be high on your priority list, and you should allocate a certain amount of time, either like a chunk of time as in like 3 hours or like an hour, or a chunk of time like on a day. So like on Tuesdays at 3, I'll do this. And put it in your calendar, or make a note to put it in your calendar if you're just like scheduling in 3 hours whenever it fits, to go and make it a priority and do it and learn it and log your progress. You don't have to post it online, but logging your skills so that as you grow throughout it, you can see the difference. Like with figure skating, sometimes I feel like I haven't really changed that much or upskilled that much. And then I look back at the first video and I'm like, wow, like I could hardly even stand up. And so I think that's really cool. I post all of mine on my story highlights. I have like a me on ice story highlight. And every single week I go to the ice rink, I film one snippet of something that I'm doing and post it up that night or the next day. And I think it's really cool to be able to look back at that. I don't know if anybody else likes seeing it, but I also hope that by posting it, I can motivate other people to want to pick up a new skill or see that you can really start something new at any age. Like, age isn't a boundary. Experience shouldn't be a boundary. It's not embarrassing. It's just exciting, and it will make you happier. Like, it will, if you find something that you really enjoy. So yeah, that is all the tips I have for you today. I just really wanted to encourage you guys to get out there, try something new and add it into your life. Makes you more interesting. It helps you develop all these skills that you really need on your self-development journey. And it's just like a fun way to get those skills. So yeah, thank you so much for listening again. Let me know if you guys have any out there hobbies. I really want to know what you guys are doing, if you guys want to pick up something new, or if this just reminded you to get back into something that you've already done. But yeah, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next week. Love you. Bye. That was a good episode. That was mean as fuck. Thanks so much for listening. You're now part of the club and I love having you here. Make sure to check out our socials at Lion and Sunshine Club or mine at It's Rebecca Marie. And I'll see you next week for the next episode. Keep showing up as your best self, you fabulous ray of sunshine. Love you.